Joining us now is CBS News Royal contributor Victoria Arbiter. Good to have you with us, and we should point out, though, you come from good stock. For folks who don't know, that was your dad, Dickie Arbiter.
It was. It's nice to see him in London this morning.
Yeah, in that piece with Charlie. So talk to us a little bit. You know, in leading up to the wedding, we talked a lot about the relationship that William has with the Queen, with his grandmother, that it was really a very close-knit relationship. They rely a lot on one another. Anything really surprising that we're learning about it now?
Well, I think what's especially lovely to see is that the Queen is really educating William in the need to strike a balance between personal and duty. As Charlie mentioned, the Queen said, yes, you can bin the list. He's not the immediate heir to the throne. There wasn't a necessity to bring along all the heads of state or the foreign leaders. And yet duty came through with his uniform. She had recently appointed him the Colonel of the Irish Guards. It was his highest military position. So duty called, and he was instructed to wear the uniform.
It also sort of points up the dynamics of the relationship, in which she is certainly going to give him, I suppose, a little bit of leash to make his own decision, but she's also going to insist that certain things are upheld.
Well, and I like there that we were seeing that upheld with William saying, you know when to say yes and when to say no. There are certain battles you can fight, certain ones you can't. But the Queen is very keen to make sure that William has all the support he needs moving forward, and she's very proud. And he really has an amazing influence there with his grandmother and his father. No sovereign in training has had that much experience on which to draw, so she's leading a good path for him.
In terms of this interview, you know, the Queen is really thought of as very proper, and then you hear little stories here and there about, oh, she's got this wicked sense of humor, and there are all these little tidbits that only sneak out now and then. Is William giving a little bit more in this interview so we can learn a little bit more about her?
Yes, he certainly is. I mean, everyone's view of the Queen Mother was this twinkly-eyed granny. Well, we've had our Queen since she was 25. You know, 60 years she celebrates next year, and so it's lovely that we're getting to see a sense of her personality, a little bit of that humour. People said she was playful at the wedding, practically skipping down the aisle. This is not a Queen that we know, so I'm glad we're getting to see that now.
Does that explain the reason why now for this interview, that in anticipation of marking this big event next year, that they're beginning to sort of roll out a sense of who Queen Elizabeth really is?
Yes, I think so. It's been an incredibly positive time for the royal family. This wedding kicked off really almost 2 years of celebrations, and next year we're going to see the Queen celebrating an anniversary that only one monarch before her has ever celebrated. That was Queen Victoria. So it's wonderful we're getting to celebrate what she's done and what she still has to come.
What she still has to come, and we've talked so much about, and Charlie just touched on it, that she's not ready to step down yet. But will she perhaps, after this Jubilee celebration, start to dial back on a few things and maybe push some of those on to William or to Prince Charles or someone else?
If she has her way, no. She took her vows when she was crowned, and she said, no, this is for life. But there's certainly a point where someone of 85, she's got a lot of energy, she's got great genes, she can't be doing quite as much as she always did, which I think is why we saw William go to Australia and New Zealand before the wedding to visit victims of the earthquakes and floods there. So we're definitely going to see the younger generations stepping in where they can, but only when the Queen says it's okay.
And the younger generation here is the point person in sort of recasting this, heading into this 60th anniversary celebration, that they didn't go to Charles, they go to William for these points, laying them all out.
Well, it's certainly then because I think they were trying to highlight William because it was his wedding as well. But we've got to be really clear that Charles is not going to be skipped. He has a role too, and it's an important one.
Victoria Arbiter, thanks for being with us this morning.
Thank you.